What's up, guys? How are you doing today? I am so excited to be here with you. We're about to cook a very nice dish. It's called Peruvian Ceviche. We went away a couple minutes for some of our friends to connect so we can start cooking the recipe. I just wanted to start by saying that every time I have the opportunity to cook this soul dish, I feel super proud and I'm very happy. This means a lot for me, and not only for me. I think this is a dish that have crossed every border in Peru and is present in a lot of restaurants even around the world, even if they're not Peruvian. And I wanted to say also that I'm excited to be on the Tastemade Makers platform, and this is brought to you by our friends at Honda. So thank you so much for making this possible. We're going to start the recipe. I think it's about time to do it. But where are you guys located? I'm in New York right now. I'm the executive chef of Artesano Restaurant. It's a new Peruvian restaurant here in Tribeca. We just opened a month ago, so I'm very excited to this new challenge in my career. I'm originally from the north of Peru, from Chiclayo. I'm 31. I was born and raised all my life in Peru. And I did most of my training, I did it in California. I have the opportunity to train in some Michelin-star restaurants. And now I'm here in the Big Apple, pursuing my dreams and open Artesano Peruvian restaurant. So I hope if you guys are ever around the city, please come visit me. We're open every day, and it's an open kitchen concept. So you will be able to see us in action. We'll meet each other, and you can try this amazing classic ceviche that I am about to make for you. So this class, just as a reminder, is being recorded. So don't worry if you don't have the ingredients right now with you. You can watch it out later, and you can use this as a demonstration, and then you can do it at home. All right? Let's get started. So safety first, all right? We're gonna move along and learn some tips in the class. It's very important that before you start cutting any ingredient or before using your cutting board, you make sure that it's not moving around, okay? Sometimes I notice most of my friends, they're about to chop an onion and I'm just so stressed because it's moving like that and then you're gonna cut your finger any second. So don't do that. Make sure you take an extra second. So this is a fancy cutting board that my friend Andrea has given. This board, let me use it. So have this little like legs, so avoid it to move. But what if you don't have it, right? You can put a wet towel paper or something like this, and then you can just put it like that, and that's it. It won't move. Okay, so it doesn't matter what type of cutting board you have. If you put something in the bottom, it was to move, and now it's safe to use. All right, guys. So we're gonna start with the sauce. As when you cook, you have to think what is gonna take you the longest. And then you make that work, and then you keep going later with the things that are faster. To make it friendly view, there's something that I have done in advance that I want to explain you in a little bit. But we're gonna make from scratch the tiger's milk. It's a citrus-based sauce that is gonna give the mild touch to our ceviche. And for that, I'm gonna start adding the ingredients in this bowl that I'm gonna put on my cutting board so you can see it. And we're gonna store. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit of celery. Put it right here. We're gonna add white onion, and the reason why I don't add red, I think that's more than enough. The reason why I don't add red onion is because the red onion has too much pigmentation, so it's gonna turn the flavor is gonna probably be almost equal, but the color is gonna be too dark, because it's red. So the white tones of the white onion or yellow onion is gonna make it look nicer. All right, I'm gonna use a red onion later on for the ceviche, but for the sauce, I recommend to use white or yellow onion. Okay, so after the onion, we're gonna add a little bit of spicy. Somebody's asking if you will be able to use shallots. You can, I think you can, but I think that white onion or red onion will have a little more stronger flavor that you need for this type of recipe. But as I said, if you have no other option and you have a shallot, be my guest and use it. The other day, my friend asked me the same question. He said, hey, I have pearl onion. He did it, and I'm sure it went well as well. So this is perfect because it's cheap. You can find it anywhere, and definitely is the best option for this. Okay, anyway, so we have celery, I have with the white onion. And now, of course, we need to add a little bit of heat. So we're gonna add a little bit of jalapeno. You can use serrano pepper, you can use a habanero if you want, but I like to use habanero for the end in little brunoise dices for more like a fruity flavor and for the fish. So right now we're gonna continue with the ginger. This is one of the most important ingredients in my opinion for the tiger's meal. So we're gonna put just a little bit of this. Kind of like that. And then we're just gonna add it to the bowl right here. Perfect. I think that's enough. Then we're gonna continue with a little bit of garlic cloves right here. Make sure they're peeled. Good question. Do you need to peel the ginger before you're using it? Not really. As long as it's washed and it's organic, you're good to go. But if you're not sure if it's a good quality ginger, you can peel it and then you can chop it up. It's no problem. But this one, I know that is the best quality, so no problem at all. The flavor won't change. Now you have peeled garlic. I recommend always when you use garlic, if you have time, no matter what recipe you do, it's very important that you use the whole head because all the flavor is concentrated and inside. Once you peel, when you buy peeled garlic, the peeled garlic loses a lot of quality. No matter where it comes from. It's sometimes hard when you work in the restaurant industry. You need a lot of quantity. But if you are like in your home and you want the best, always whole head of garlic. Nice recommendation for you. Okay. Okay. So we have the garlic, and then what are we missing? A little bit of cilantro. I have some cilantro over here that have been soaked in water. I want to add it to my sauce, and then before we add the liquid, that is the lime juice. Sorry, we're gonna add salt. And what is the salt gonna do with this? The salt is gonna take all the sweat and natural juice from the vegetables, and it's gonna be way different and a very nice flavor when you blend it. So don't be scared. Just a generous amount of salt because the acidity of the lemon of the lime with the salt is gonna balance it out very well. So right now we're gonna, if you have time, leave this like overnight. Just wrap it up. Put it in your fridge, and you continue next day. Can you use any type of salt? Yeah, sure. You can use Maldon salt. I wouldn't recommend it because it's expensive for this, but you could if you want. You can use Himalayan salt, kosher salt. I'm using kosher salt for this recipe, but I mean, honestly, as long as you know your salt, because you know some salts are very salty, just make sure that you know the amount. Go from less to more, okay? So we're gonna wait for a few minutes. While this is sweating, I'm going to continue cutting some of the other ingredients and explain you about the chulpe and the choclo that are also part of this recipe. We don't have all night to wait for this, but we're going to wait 5 minutes, so we're going to continue, okay? These guys over here are called chulpe. This is a Peruvian corn nut. It's very crunchy, and it's definitely give that texture that we're looking in the ceviche. To cook this, you have two ways. Either you put a pot, you put it with neutral oil, you add the chulpe corn, you put it in medium heat, and you cook it covered, okay? You're going to be moving it around. Make sure it's not too hot, because if it's too hot, it's going to burn it in the outside very quick, and it's going to still a little raw. So it takes about 5 minutes in medium-low heat, and these guys, you just strain it, and then you put it in a paper towel and put salt, and it's really, really, really delicious. Well, somebody is asking a question. Do you get best results if you leave all the ingredients for the tiger's meal overnight? 100% yes. Because that is like, let's say you're marinating a steak, okay, with a nice, sauce. If you marinate it and you're going to put it straight in the grill, it's not going to be bad, but you're not going to let the magic to happen, You need it to penetrate the protein, and it needs like to be like very, very, very marinated. But I mean, if you make it very strong, probably need less time. So playing around with it, if you have time, as I said, way overnight, and then you can plan ahead and do this the next day. It would be best, but if you don't do it, it's still very good, trust me, because all these ingredients, I don't know what happened when they're together, but just something happened that is beautiful and is very delicious. Okay, so talking about, let's go back to the chulpe. You can order these guys. You can find it in any Latino store, or you can even order it online. Okay, it's called chulpe, and it comes like this. And it's literally, when it's raw, is the same. It's just like less color. No, after you fry it, it gets like that little toasty. And the second version, if you don't want to deep fry it, you can just toast it and move it, and then it's completely toasted, and that's it. I personally think that it's better when you deep fry it. All right, guys. Another ingredient. This is very important. It's called choclo. Okay, it's a giant corn from Peru, and the way you cook this is super simple. What you do is you're gonna put in a pot a little. You have to make sure it's covering like this of water, and this is the same. This is the same water that I use for cooking it. So once it's done, you keep it in the water. Otherwise, it gets dry and lose flavor. And to avoid that these guys get brown, you have to add a little bit of lime juice when you're cooking it, with 1 spoon of sugar and 1 star anise. That is the secret, guys, okay, to have a very nice choclo. So then we have the choclo ready, we have the chulpe ready. One ingredient that is going to balance it out, the acidity of this dish, is sweet potato. I have this guy over here. I cook it in the oven, nice and slow, for around 30 minutes, 380 degrees Fahrenheit. And then this is cold, of course. This is a cold dish, so make sure this is cold before you cut it. And then simply, you're going to peel it. I'm just going to need a couple of slices for this, so I'm not going to use the whole thing, but I'm going to have peel it for other preparation. And then I'm just going to reserve a couple of slices for this recipe, so got right here. 1 and 2. That's enough. I'm going to put this on the side for something else later. And I'm going to reserve the sweet potato for the ceviche plate. All right, we're getting close. We're getting close. What else do we need to do here? Let me find this. So now, Nick, sorry guys, we have another question. Nick C says that you have an amazing kitchen. Thank you very much. I have to be fair though. I wish this was my kitchen. This is my very close friend Andrea, which is an amazing content creator, by the way. Go follow her on Instagram. She's allowing me to use her kitchen where she makes all her magic behind the scenes. So she's actually here with me. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me. So you have an amazing kitchen. Anyways, let's keep going, guys. So, red onion. This is what we're going to use to add this crunchiness in the ceviche, okay? So since we're cutting this, let me give you a couple of tips of cutting let me get a second. Get a little toilet paper here to clean my knife. All right, so the cut is going to be depend on what you're going to be doing with this onion. I'm going to cut this in julienne. It has to be very thin so it's not aggressive at the mouth when you eat it. So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to cut the ends of both sides like this. Then we're going to cut this in half. Always take the first layer out. Always. Have the first layer out. Take the other one as well. And remember to, of course, to work clean. So before I start cutting this, I make sure I take everything out of my cutting board so I have space to work. I'm not throwing this to the floor. I have a garbage can here. Yeah. All right. So another tip. To cut a nice julienne of onion, you need to you have to be patient, okay? So I recommend that you take the heart and save it for soup, stock, or something that doesn't require like precision cut. No, if you want something to look nice, this is a little weird to cut. Look, you see, it's a heart. It's a lot of flavor, by the way. All the concentration of the flavor is in the center. So don't throw it out. Put it aside and use it for something else later. Okay, so from here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna divide this in pieces. I like to cut these 2 at a time. So you got this, separate it in 2, separate it in 2. Okay, I think that for this recipe, half is more than enough, so I'm going to put this on the side. But I'm going to give you the demonstration with this onion. Okay, so you have like this, right? If you want to start cutting the onion like that, what's going to happen? You're going to cut it, it's oval, no? So it's going to be hard to be hard to get a good precision cut. So what you need to do is cut this in half. Okay, so look, you cut in half, and then you have way more control. Okay, so then you're gonna just, you know, with the finger over here, so that's gonna guide the thickness of the knife, and you, with confidence, just keep going. And don't cut your finger. When you're here, don't try to cut more. Just don't stretch yourself out. Just take it out and put it with the leftover, you know? It's not you're gonna throw it out and then you keep it like that. It's better to waste like half an inch of onion than cut your nail, okay? So don't stretch like that. Just do the same thing here. I'm gonna cut as close as I can where I feel safe. And then this, I'm gonna save it, okay? And this is what I'm looking for. All right, another tip. I have here ice water, okay? And the ice water is gonna help the onion to be crunchy and also to take out all that super aggressive, onion flavor. So you're just gonna keep it like that for a few minutes, okay? You can see it. And while we finish the tiger's milk, this is gonna be soaking for like a few minutes, okay? For like 10 minutes. All right. So now, as you notice, I haven't touched my fish yet because I didn't want it to be like cutting fish and then washing the cutting board to cut my vegetables. So that's another recommendation. If you're making a recipe, you can be like, okay, what do we have to do? Cut a steak? Yeah, pucha, I have to cut some onions, mirpa, whatever. Do the vegetable first, no? Unless you have 2 or 3 cutting boards, but just to be a little more efficient. So right now, I think I need to cut, yes, I need to cut a couple more things that are the limes for the tiger's milk. I have some juice here, but I think I'm gonna need a couple more. So I'm just gonna cut, before I cut my fish, a couple limes. Let's do 3 limes. All right, I don't know. And over here, we're gonna start adding the sauce, the liquid. You know what? Actually, let's go straight to the blender. Why not? It's time to blend the sauce. Okay, so we're gonna add all this in here. We're gonna add the juice, the lime juice. I have approximately here almost a cup of lime juice. And then we're gonna add the lime juice, the limes I just cut, into the blender. And before we blend this, sorry, somebody's asking something. Someone in the chat says to use lemon juice. Well, the acidity is different, the lime from the lemon. I'm sure it could probably work. It wouldn't be the same result though. I would definitely encourage you to use lime juice for sure. The result is gonna be, you're gonna thank me later. It's gonna be worth it. Okay, we're gonna save half of this for later, just in case we need it, to adjust the acidity if it's needed. And right now, before we blend this, we need one more ingredient that is super important. We need to put leftover fish into this. So before we do that, I blend it, I need to cut the fish. Where I have it? I have it in the fridge. Give me a second. All right. Where is it? Let's talk fish. The best fish to use is the freshest fish you'll find. We in the restaurant do catch of the day because it can change. One day we can use fluke, the other day can be flounder. Before, people were a little hesitating of using like salmon for ceviche, but nowadays literally you can use salmon ceviche, tuna ceviche, whatever you want. I just make sure the fish is fresh, high quality. You have to make sure you smell it. It doesn't have to smell like fishy. You have to be fresh. You have to be a little bit salty of the sea. Anyway, so I'm gonna use one little fillet. What is your favorite fish to use? Somebody's asking me. That's gonna be depending of the season, depending on where I am. But as I said, my favorite fish is gonna be the freshest fish I'll find that day. It could be, I personally love flounder. It's a very, very gentle fish. It's affordable. It's very tender, easy, it's not chewy. So I think flounder in this season it works very well. Halibut, I love it, but not for ceviche. I like it more for like, you know, grilling or like saute. What is the most popular fish to use in Peru for ceviche? I think corvina. What do you think, Andrea?
Yeah.
Corvina, right? Yeah. I think corvina is, but let me tell you something, okay? All right. So, well, before that, this is going to go straight to the blender, huh? Plum, mana. And then I'm going to start cutting the fish. And while I cutting the fish, I'm going to talk to you a little bit, something that's very interesting. Because as you guys know, Peru has 3 regions. Coast, mountain. I think this is enough. I'm going to save this for later. Peru has the coast, has the mountains, and have the jungle. And you would think that because that people would eat ceviche only in the coast, right? Because it's the sea. But this dish is so popular that it literally is eating in the entire 3 regions of Peru. Okay. By the way, I'm cutting this fish in like little dices. There's no rule. Okay. Some people like to feel more like the texture of the fish, want bigger bites. I wouldn't recommend to go more than 1 centimeter or 2 centimeter square. Some people cut it like sashimi style, little pieces like in B. I'm just doing it like the easiest and friendly way, so you guys don't stress about it. Just make sure the most important thing is that to be consistent with your cuts. So if you go this size of the square, everything has to be the same, you know? It's like when you're cooking a potato in a stew or something, and you have 1 big potato, 1 small potato, 1 huge potato, the caution is going to be different, right? One is going to be overcooked, the other one is going to be ready, and it's going to be something bad. Presentation-wise, doesn't look good either. So I have my dices here. Well, as I was saying, so in the mountains of Peru, the rocoto, which is a Peruvian pepper that grows there, is eaten with the tiger's meal that we're doing here, and they eat a lot of trout, you know, because they have rivers there, so they make ceviche with that. And in the jungle, the paiche ceviche is super popular too. So even in the jungle, mountain, or the coast, the people in Peru are crazy. They like their ceviche, and no matter where they are, they're gonna eat it. There's even a holiday for ceviche, so it's a big thing. Okay. So I'm just raising this. This is where I had my tiger's meal previously. And here is where we're gonna add the fish. And while we are blending this, we're gonna put the, when is the holiday for ceviche? Tell us about it. If I'm not mistaken, is June 28th? Yes.
Yeah, it's a month
it's
before
June.
Fiesta.
I think it's June 28th. Yeah, it's a holiday. So yeah, nobody works that day. Everybody just go eat ceviche everywhere. Okay, but okay. So guys, you have your ceviche, right? You are like 10 minutes away to plate. You go ahead and add a little bit of salt. A little bit of salt. You let the magic happen. You mix it up. We finish the sauce here. Let's blend this. Okay, so another tip. You could either, we're going to stay on the white. Okay, perfect. So I have all this over here. And sometimes, because we just add lime juice, it could be a little too strong with the acidity. So make sure you have a little bit of water, or you can have also fumet, which is a light fish stock, to reduce, okay? So basically, to get a very good tiger's meal, you need to balance acidity, spiciness, you know, because if it's too spicy, you cannot feel the flavor. If it's too acid, it's going to be invasive. Or if it's too salty, forget it. I don't need how to explain you that, no? So it's pretty easy recipe, but I think finding the middle point between this perfect triangle, that's the magic. So I hope you guys really try to do this dish, because this sauce is, trust me, very good with raw fish. And not only that, you can even, if you make like a seafood rice or something, you can use this tiger's meal to add acidity instead of use lime juice. You can add tiger's meal to something and forget it. It's going to be beautiful. All right, we're almost done. That's it. That's one of the most important things too. You don't have to blend it like a smoothie. This is not a smoothie, okay? Because if you do it too much, it's gonna be, forget it. It's not gonna be good. You just need a little bit to make everything together, and that's it. So check it out. It's kind of like that. You see, all the chunks are still in the sauce. So we're gonna strain it. Make sure you have a fine sieve. Right. Put it over here. You wanna recover all the juice. You wanna make sure you don't waste anything. Okay. So give me a second. I'm gonna use this. So with spoon, you just go like this. Be patient. Take all the flavor out. Oh my God, I can smell all the ingredients together. The ginger, the garlic, the cilantro. Wow, this is so refreshing. Makes me smile. Brings me automatically to Chiclayo, where I'm from. I can remember my mom coming with the fish. Like, that's when the magic start happening, you know. Starting to put salt into a dish and just give you a little bit of extension here. All right, so make sure to take all the liquid out. Perfect. Put this over here, and of course you have to try the seasoning. You know, maybe it needs a little more saltiness, maybe it needs a little more water, a little more acidity. How to know when it's ready? Remember those three principles: acidity, spicy, and saltiness. Not too much of any of it. It has to be a little salty, a little spicy, and a little bit the other. Don't, not too much of it. So just up to you, okay? So just one of two. Let's try this out. Oof. Now a little more salt. Just a tiny more salt. But the flavor is there. The flavor is there. Oh my God, this is so good. Let me raise this. All right. This is ready, guys. Now, from here, it's up to you. You could either, if you don't really like raw fish, you can add the tiger's meal into the fish and let it soak for a couple minutes and then put it on the plate. I personally like to appreciate the texture of the fish, you know, where it comes from. I know it's high quality, it's wild caught, so I'm not scared of it. So I'm gonna basically put just a little bit of the sauce in here, and I'm gonna automatically serve it into the plate. Okay. Let's put, you know what? Let's put some of the onions too, right here. Boom! Look at these colors. Beautiful, nice and clean. And that's it, guys. Let's play some ceviche. I have my dish. I'm gonna make sure. Put it right there in the middle. Oof. Literally, in Peru, we go eat ceviche, even if it's 10 p.m. and cold, doesn't matter. We go eat it. It's beautiful. Okay, right there. I'm gonna put some of the onions over here. I'm gonna put the leftover juice. And of course, we're gonna add more juice because that's what we need. But first, let's add a little bit of the chulpe, of the crunchiness. Somebody's asking something. Does the time in the marinades change if the, sorry, I need to put this, if the chunks are bigger? Of course, it changes. If it's a big piece of fish, I wouldn't recommend it, because think about it. When you're eating the fish, the ceviche, just think about the spoon that you're gonna use to serve your guests. You want that they get a little piece of everything in the bite. But if you put a huge piece of fish, they want to eat just fish, you know? And the idea is to give a little bit of the juice, a little bit of the chulpe, of the chocolate, of the sweet potato, and that all magic happen. So think about it, guys. We have the crunchiness of the chulpe. We have the creaminess of the chocolate. It's over here. Okay. We have the sweet of the sweet potato that is going to balance the acidity and the saltiness of the ceviche. We have the red onion. Okay, that's going to be crunchy too. It's going to be, you know, a little bitter, but just the right amount. And the sauce that is going to put everything together. So I think that couple of slices here. Look at those colors, guys. Love it. A little more of this. Generous amount of tiger's milk. And then I have a little bit of cilantro just to, you know, final touches. I think that one over here. Yeah. And that's it. We're ready. Peruvian ceviche for you. I hope you guys enjoy the recipe. This is really, truly my favorite dish. I love it. This brings me so many memories. It's super easy to make. We just need to find those three element balance, the acidity, the spiciness, the saltiness, and you'll be fine. I hope you make this recipe. It's so good. It's so yummy. I can't really wait to try this. You know what? I'm going to do it because I actually am very hungry. So I'm using all your wood spoons.
Okay, you want another
oh, you have
one?
You have over here, no? Right. Let's try this, guys. Before we try it, I wanted to thank Honda and Tastemade for allowing me and giving me the opportunity to share my culture, to share my food. I'm very proud to do this, and thank you very much. Okay, let's try this. This is what you need, guys. A little bit of sweet potato, a little bit of the fish, a little bit of everything. Make sure you get... Oh, another tip. You have to eat this with a spoon. When we're at the restaurant, we sit at the table, right? And we only put the spoon. We kind of like joke about it. Say, yeah, we force you to eat it with a spoon. It's because the experience is not the same. You want the spoon because you need the juice. You need to put everything together, okay? So let's do this. Salud. Buenazo. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for our friends at Honda. You guys are amazing. Appreciate you. Thank you for making this possible. And I hope you guys like the class. See you next time.